banks reportedly unprepared for the flood of applications. Joining me right now is Ohio Senator, member of the Homeland and Governmental Affairs Committees, as well as the Foreign Relations Committee, Rob Portman. Senator, thanks very much for being here. We appreciate your time this morning. Let me ask you about the readiness of all of this. This $350 billion loan package looks good, and many people feel that it could move the needle. But we just heard from one banker earlier on the program who are talking about banks perhaps not being ready because they don't know the rules. The website is not live. What's your take on whether or not banks are ready here?
Well, I think the new guidance that went out last evening was very helpful. I'm sitting here looking at a loan application as we talk. It's streamlined, so it's easy for the small business to be able to apply. And I'm finding that our regional banks here in Ohio, Fifth Third, Key Bank, Huntington Bank, are up and ready. I think they have the information that they need. Our local banks, there's a community bank that contacted me last night and said that they still have some concerns over some of the new guidance, but they're looking at it quickly. I think some of this money will go out very soon. I mean, like today, which will be in the form of loans. But as you say, those loans are forgiven if it's used for payroll. In fact, some of it can be used for other things like utilities, mortgage, and rent. And our small businesses need it. I was on a call with about 80 small businesses in Ohio a couple of days ago, and I asked them to take a survey, how many plan to use it. 50% said definitely. The other 50% said they're looking into it. They haven't said no yet, and it may work for them. For others, the new employee retention tax credit might work better. But, Maria, I think this is really going to help.
Okay, because I guess there were some questions about banks needing more guidance in terms of how to administer the money, and that's what they were waiting on. We know that residents of your state have been hit particularly hard. Jobless claims filed in Ohio in just the last 2 weeks reached almost 470,000. To put that into perspective, just over 360,000 unemployment claims were filed in Ohio in all of 2019.
Yeah, we're overwhelmed. Last week, we had a 20-fold increase from the previous week, which is relatively high. And I agree with what your guest said about the unemployment rate. The Congressional Budget Office has said that it's going to be over 10% this quarter. The 3.8% is a lagging indicator, as you know. The Jobs Friday numbers are a good indicator for us generally. But in a case like this, when things are moving so rapidly, it is lagging the real economy. And the GDP, again, the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, has said that they expect it to be minus 28% on an annualized rate. So, we are in a free fall right now, and we've got to continue to do what we can to prop up the economy through this rescue package. And then most importantly, Maria, and you've talked about this on the air, I've heard you, we've got to deal with this healthcare crisis. But until we get the corona crisis spread under control, we're not going to be able to get back on our feet economically.
Yeah, you're right. I was just reading one research report. Nancy Lazar at Cornerstone Macro expects a contraction in the second quarter of 25%. You just said 28%. And you said that we are in a free fall. We need this assistance now in terms of small business and big business. Senator, we know you're doing your part. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks for what you're doing and explaining things to folks and telling people to hold on. And a few months from now, things will be very different. And we need a strong economy to pull out of this.
Yeah, we hope so. By the end of the year, we hope for that rebound. Rob Portman will be watching. Thank you. And stay with us for the